Okay, so obviously I'm recording this. I'm going to post it to my YouTube afterwards. So for I'm just going to let people know, people that are watching now, going to be watching, that this is a video. Essentially, it's a follow-on from the video I posted yesterday about the drama that's going on down there in Banjul, and it's, you know, I don't think it's welcome to anyone. I was reading the comments that I was getting on the video, and no one's happy. No one's happy about the situation. Nobody wanted this to happen, and I'm guessing you didn't either. Of course, you're in this situation now, and I mean,
yeah.
How about you taking it?
As best I can, you know. Fortunately, I'm a resourceful person, and once the shock of it kind of settled in, I just had to roll up my pants and wade through the crap, because it's a crappy situation. And quite frankly, I don't take any pleasure in it, because it's not what I expected. I'm not maliciously out to get anybody. I'm actually not jealous of anybody or any of those things that have been implied or, you know, said or anything like that. The truth is the truth, and it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, that is actually an important point, because I was reading the comments, and of course you're going to get people who will make the assumption that you're just a disgruntled ex partner of two people who didn't want to work with you anymore, and you could be just trying to get them back. Of course, that's not the case, and you've got proof of that as well.
That's not the case at all. Unfortunately, some of the proof right now I cannot reveal because of sensitive. It involves people's sensitive financial records and documents. What a lot of people don't know is that I started working with that organization before I left the States. There was some functionality. So when the people heard me on the bag video talking about my working with Kwesi and how I offered services in trade for some of the assistance that I got in terms of getting my ticket and getting over here and that sort of thing, what they didn't know is that I have quite a strong business background and technical background. So all of the payment systems that were used to collect money online, I set those accounts up. I set those systems up. I built the payment systems. I'm the one that made the systems work for them to be able to transact money online. And so it puts me in the direct line of fire, because I helped file those documents. I was the resident agent for the LLC and filed the documents. I have access to the accounts. So when I started seeing money being sent to places where it was not supposed to be, because some of the accounts had my name on them, I shut the accounts down and demanded an accounting of the funds, which we still, none of us have gotten. So I'm not disgruntled. I'm not mad. I mean, I am mad. I'm furious that because it affects people's lives. People are stuck, you know, but we're talking about something actually criminal.
I mean,
this is not it's not a YouTube beef. It's not we got mad and we're going to make up later. We're talking about financial responsibility, accountability, and criminal action.
I know there will be people that will be tuning in who won't know everything about what's going on. I mean, even in the video that I put out yesterday, it wasn't exactly detailed. It's quite vague, but there was a lot of information, and I couldn't put it in 15 minutes. So I'm just going to start this from the beginning, essentially. First of all, I'm going to just introduce who you are, and then who Art Cathey is, because not everyone's going to know who she is, and also who is Kwesi Boyd. This Kwesi Boyd character, I mean, you're going to have to tell me more about him as well. But let's start with you with yourself, of course. I mean, how long, how did it start for you? How did this journey to Gambia start for you?
Well, I have been wanting to move to the continent for some time. You know, like a lot of us in the States, we are more and more disgruntled with the goings on in the States, with, you know, we're being slaughtered. And it was really becoming a majorly traumatic experience. You know, we're watching us being killed literally daily. It's trauma. It's trauma on TV. It's trauma on the internet, right? And so we dream of coming someplace where we can have some freedom.
Yeah.
And I thought that I had encountered a brother who said he was my brother. He would be my brother in business, and he would be my brother in establishing a better community, something that we all dreamed of. We believed the vision. I'm guilty just like other people. I believed the vision because I so wanted to come here and be an integral part of something better, something more beautiful. I wanted to be a part of saving my people.
Yeah.
And so I introduced myself to quite a few people online when COVID happened, and my business was halted and my funds kind of got stagnated. I had a plan, I thought, to come to the continent, and then COVID happened and it kind of shut everything down.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that I am a professional. I've run businesses. I do a lot of things that would be very beneficial to a developing organization. And so I offered my skill set to a couple of people who I knew were in the arena of repatriation.
So
I happened to get a response back from Kwesi Boyd.
Ah, okay. So that was the initial contact. It was with Kwesi Boyd himself. Was he still in the United States himself?
I did not. No, he was already in the Gambia.
Okay.
It was apparently right after his split from Blacksit, but before everyone really understood the connection with Art Cathey.
Okay.
So I believe that I was coming on board to work with Invest Relocate Africa. It was not until after I was already on board and getting involved with the systems that I realized that Art Cathey was sort of the front, and he was the systems guy behind the front.
Yeah. Do you know, I've had hundreds and hundreds of comments, and I couldn't get through all of them, but I heard somebody say exactly that she was more of the front lady, and that the people behind her, the people that was pushing her, were men, essentially, who had an ulterior motive. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense what you just said there. So when did he invited you to come over to the Gambia then, did he?
Yes, so after I started, I worked for probably about 3 months, just under 4 months, 3 to 4 months. I worked with him from the States online, getting up every day, seeing what problems needed to be solved, what technical issues there were, communicating with what I thought was the team here in the Gambia, and then I'm sorry, I'm being bad at making the people on the inside be quiet because they interrupted my live.
That's okay.
Okay. And now they're locking me out. But I started, I did that for about 4 months. I built the systems. I did that, didn't get any pay or anything like that. We never discussed like an hourly rate or a particular thing. He proposed this career path model to me by which someone could work with his organization. He would assist them in getting over to the continent, and then their residency in a property would be taken care of in lieu of their work for his organization for 23 hours a week. So if you worked at least 23 hours a week with his organization, your lodging would be taken care of.
Okay.
Right. And so I built the systems, everything started working, and he started collecting funds. And so he said, okay, so what do you need from me? And I said, well, I need you to do what you said you were going to do. You proposed that you were going to help people get to the Gambia. I've done this work. I've not asked you for any pay. So quite frankly, I need a ticket.
Yeah.
And so he purchased my ticket, or authorized the funds to purchase my ticket. And then I came over with an understanding that I was coming as part of the first wave of what he called his executive team, or team of managers that would help him oversee some Gambians that he had been training, and that he needed some executive level people to come in and help him sort of create structure and departments and get everything up and running. These are things that I've done before. So I said, sure, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I arrived.
Yeah. Okay. Now, very brave thing to do. Very brave thing to do. You know. Can I just ask you? One of the questions that I got from yesterday was, you know, of course, a lot of people were saying, "Oh yeah, you know, these people. I can't believe they're investing their money in people that they barely know." But you know, what was it about Kwesi Boyd that won you over, that won you his trust, that made you thought, okay, think that he was a stand-up guy in the first place? And Cathey, I mean, Cathey herself doesn't come across to me online to be the kind of, you know, person who is what can I say, diplomatic, you know, in certain situations. Right. So what made you sort of take that leap of faith? Right.
Okay. So there. Well, there were a couple things. This is not the first time for me that I have. First of all, I have a military background, so this is not the first time for me that I have moved someplace sight unseen.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. I've moved before to a place that I've never seen, and until I landed there and said, okay, I live here now. So that part of it is not really a new thing for me.
Okay.
I'm a military brat, and I was in the military. So I've tossed around my whole life. I've never been afraid to go somewhere and see what's over there. I've always felt like, well, if I don't like it, I can go back. Yeah. And so I knew I wanted to come to the continent. That was the first thing. Mm-hmm. The second thing was that I have a brother who is in real estate, and he and I and my family also hold a property management company. We've dealt with some properties, and when I looked at the business model, it wasn't really so much that I necessarily believed in Kwesi. The things that he presented initially seemed sound. And if you just look at the overall concept of it, it seems the model could actually work. It's kind of what he presented to the investors is something that looks very much like what the vacation property, Airbnb property type of model looks like in the US. So it was very familiar to people. Yeah. It was something that we could wrap our brains around. Yeah. It was very simple, not any complex detail of things. You invest a certain amount, you get an equal amount of equity into this property in which you could come and have a stay and or get residual income when it's booked out if it's not a time for your stay. This is a model that we've all seen in the US with timeshares and, you know, Airbnb and all of these things. And so the plausibility of that seemed very sound. And on the internet, you can present anything. So there were some optics that were very key, where
Wow.
pictures were taken very strategically to look like these properties were fabulous and well appointed and all of these things. But if you zoom out, it's a shit show. I mean, sorry, pardon me, but
That's okay. That's okay.
right. And so I don't know how in reason either of them thought that people would actually arrive and see with their own eyes that what actually was there was not lining up with what was presented online. And again, I hear you on the Art Cathey part of it, but in terms of me, I was not an Art Cathey follower.
Yeah.
I was following the movement. I followed Black Sid. I followed Wodamaya. I followed the Bag family. I followed ES out of Tanzania. I was following the movement.
Wait.
And so
the Bags family he's also military and he's in Gambia, is he not?
yes.
Have you met him yet?
I have met. Yes, I have met them.
Ah,
I have met them.
Is it Big Juicy Mama? Big something like that.
Sweet Juicy Mama. Yes, Mr. Rick and Sweet Juicy Mama.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you know, how did you guys get along? Are you still in contact with them?
Oh, yeah, I'm in contact with them. I mean, the interesting thing is that online, it looks like the American faction and the UK faction don't really get along, and everybody is fighting with each other and all of that stuff. And on the ground, that's actually not true.
Yeah.
I've actually, and I don't know, maybe there's something about my personality that may be different than others. I don't really know, but I'm kind of a unifier, get along with everybody. So I got here and I've really met everybody just about. I've met several repats from the UK community. I've met several repats from the US. I've met any number of local Gambians, and quite frankly, just about everybody gets along except with Art Cathey and Kwesi Boy.
That's incredible. It's incredible that they've managed to create so much hostility towards themselves, which is crazy in a country where the people are renowned. I mean, I don't know if you don't know me that well, but I've been to the Gambia on a few occasions myself. Yeah, and the people there are the nicest, most humble, most heartwarming people that you will ever meet. So if you're able to conjure up toxicity from them people, you've got to be having something really special going for you. Just for the people who don't know Art Cathey, let's just go over who she is first, because I want to go over who Art Cathey is and who Kwesi Boyd is, just what you know about them. So Art Cathey is what? She is an African American ADOS, right? She's a YouTube. Yeah, she's an African American woman. Yeah. And she came to the Gambia. And let me just offer this caveat. Oh yeah. She came to the Gambia. Yes, she has not been here a year. I don't know if she's been here 6 months, honestly. Wow. Maybe 6 months. Do you think that she was making some of those videos? Do you think she was making some of those videos in America? I don't know if she was making any of them in America, but what I do know is that she lives as a total recluse here and does not come outside. So nobody that's come here has met her, as I have not as well. I've never met her. She's never met me. She sent me a nasty voice message once because I had the audacity to put one too many words in a response on Facebook. And so I got a tongue lashing via voicemail. And so I've never actually spoken to her or met her. My only interaction with her was, or with her name, was as a part of Invest Relocate Africa. And as it was explained to me that
the Art Cathey brand is a product that Invest Relocate Africa manages.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. And so all of the business was handled by Kwesi Boyd, while she just locked herself in front of a camera and made inflammatory videos to drive the traffic to people to rah, get everybody all hyped up. And
I think,
and so then people got caught up into the hype and I'll send my money to.
Yes. Yeah, I think there was a double side to the reasons why she was doing it. It was very strategic, wasn't it? She was disrespecting Gambians, knowing that the Gambians isn't the place where she was going to get her money from. However, she was disrespecting them, knowing that it would drive up the emotions of the other ADOS that were looking for a home to go back to. And she was she did a good job of that. She did a good job of doing that, of making this inflammatory situation work for her. It's really
because
crazy.
quite honestly, most of the people who most of her followers who are caught up into all of that hype and attack with her, they're all in the States. They haven't been over here. They don't know her. They don't actually know her personally either.
Wow. Yeah. So, okay, just back to who she is. I mean, I know I don't want to go too deep into detail about her because I don't want to get you into trouble. I don't want to get myself into trouble either. But so Art Cathey, African-American YouTuber that has come to Gambia, apparently with not a lot of money, and she's managed to build something. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
One question before we go on to Kwesi Boyd. Do you think that Art Cathey came to the Gambia with the intention of helping other African Americans come back and repatriate back in Africa, or do you think she came over specifically to take advantage of the emotions of the situation with all these African American ADOS wanting to go back to Africa? What do you think?
I don't know. That's hard to say. It's hard to read into a person's intention. But if we are looking at patterns, if you go back and look at all of her videos, even before she left the States, she was equally inflammatory, even in the States. She was equally abusive and abrasive in her language towards people, towards women that are overweight or older and don't have children, or anybody that she thinks is beneath her for some reason. She divides people into these categories that she deems as the basic, the brain dead, and the brilliant. And based on her qualifications of who's brilliant, that makes you worthy of speaking to or not. And that's just not how I operate. So
it's not like it's not
even
how
once I
it's not how most of us operate. It's not how most of us operate.
And so even once I knew that or came to understand that there was that this was supposed to be a brand and we're managing. I should also say about my background. I have at one point I was a political appointee in Washington, D.C. I worked in government in the mayor's office and liaised with the White House during the Bush administration. And so I worked for the chief of staff for the city of DC. And so I was at a very high level in the executive office of the mayor and worked with press people all the time and understood the art of spin, right? I've been in situations in the professional, in my professional career where I've had to manage people that were bad press. And we had to manage the message that went out about that. And so the way that it was delivered to me, that she is a product, albeit an inflammatory product. We need to manage this because this is what the business is doing. This is what the movement is doing. I said, okay. So I kind of distanced myself from the ruckus of it and just focus on the business and the properties and that sort of thing, because I could wrap my mind around that business model. I didn't really get involved with any of that. I actually unsubscribed and tuned out of the videos because I was more involved in the real estate side of it and managing the properties and the investors, or so I thought until I arrived here.
Yeah.
And it's important to know that I will not make my 3-week anniversary until this Wednesday. I've only been here on the ground 3 weeks.
Oh my God.
So all of this happened. The first confrontation happened within my first week of being here. My very first week of being here, because it doesn't take long to see that what I was presented is not what I'm seeing on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so the moment I confronted it, I was met with violence and you know, all sorts of things. I was kicked out and I was booted out from the groups, and I have been maligned and all of these things. But I've seen what I've seen.
Yeah, we are going to go into that. I want us to break it down so the viewers, the people who are going to be watching this, can sort of assimilate it into their minds.
Okay.
I think a lot of our viewers have watched my video. It wasn't very detailed, and then they've gone through the comment section, and there is a plethora of information inside there. Some of them is true, some of them are just complete and utter lies. So I want us to break it down for them so they can actually assimilate it into their minds about exactly what you went through. Okay, so first of all, next I just want to go over Kwesi Boyd. I don't know this guy, and everything I've heard about him, his character, that tells me that he's a slippery character, you know. That's but I don't know him. So can you sort of tell the people who are watching who he is? When did he get involved with the Gambia? When did he? What part of the States is it? I mean, you may not be able to even answer that, but you know, what do we know about Kwesi Boyd that you can tell us?
He is from, I believe it's Ohio, Connecticut, somewhere up in there, but he lived in Atlanta, has an Atlanta address, an Atlanta driver's license. He has said, and I've seen some evidence that he had a tax business in the US, preparing income taxes and that sort of thing. And my understanding is that he has been here in the Gambia. He originally came to the Gambia about 4 years ago, and went back to the States for a little bit, and then came back here to live in the Gambia about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. And he's been here consistently then.
Okay.
He originally worked with Juliet and Ryan of Blacksit, and then they had an ugly split. There were a lot of accusations leveled, and but nobody really, you know, nobody really knew what exactly happened with that. And then he was reborn again through his connection with Art Cathey.
Okay. So so it was Art Cathey that sort of gave him a lifeline, and here we are basically. Now, so we know who you are. We know who Art. I think
maybe they gave each other a lifeline.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I think maybe they gave each other a lifeline because she was already a YouTuber.
Yeah. So we know Art Cathey. We know Kwesi Boyd. We know who you are. It's time to get down to the meat and bones of what actually happened. Okay, so you came there 3 weeks ago. You landed on the ground. You started to immerse yourself into the work. when did you start to
Yes.
feel that something was not quite right about the business practices of Cathey and Kwesi Boyd?
The first week was a little bit slow. I arrived literally in the midst of right at the end of the rainy season. So the night I arrived, there was a big like monsoon rain, and so I kind of eased into things a little bit slowly. We went to one property and I stayed there, but it was very late at night. I was given a room and went to sleep and kind of didn't see much. And the very next morning, we left almost immediately to go to what he calls the business hub, but that is his personal compound. And that was the first, that was the beginning of the eye opening.
Oh, okay. Goodness. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nuts. How old is he? He's like in his late 40s, early 50s. I'm guessing. He looks young.
He's 47, 48. Yeah, about 47, 48 years old.
Okay. So, okay, so he's you started to see. I mean, what did you start to see once you got back to his compound? Did you see any was it him himself? You didn't see any of the properties or anything, I'm guessing. You didn't see this dodgy. No, you didn't see any of that yet. So
I didn't see any. I saw a lot of people in his house that were referred to initially as his students, that I later learned were not students.
My goodness.
And some of those not students are barely legal.
Wow. Okay. That actually, yeah, I think somebody else said this also in the comments section. That is damning. That really is some damning information.
Yes.
So you knew something there and then, that something weren't right about this Kwesi Boyd. You were like, okay, what's going on? What about the business?
Yes.
What about
yes.
Did you see any? I mean, I don't know if you're even allowed to say this, right? But there are people making accusations that there was some illicit substances that he was around. Allegedly, we'll say allegedly, right? To protect ourselves, we will say that allegedly. That there was there were things that there were.
Yes.
Okay. So, were these girls that these girls that were barely legal? You're saying allegedly. Were they? Did you see them around this sort of illicit substances, or
Yeah, they're around every day. They live in his compound and are not students.
Wow. Okay. You need not say more. You need not say anymore. Okay. Well, we'll go into the business side of things now, because I watched a video on your YouTube channel of this 8-bedroom mini hotel that he was talking about. I remember Cathey speaking about this in one of her videos, and I was like, ah, that's
Yes.
impressive, you know. She didn't
I don't know. It was
show any videos herself of this.
Yes.
And I only started asking questions myself when I started realizing, wait a minute, where are all these properties? You know, where are they? Okay. Tell us about this 8-bedroom property. What were they trying to do with it?
Well, they were supposed to rehab the property. Everyone saw the property quite a while ago when it was first acquired, or there was supposed to be some deal being made to acquire this property, and that it would be completely rehabbed. There was this great vision of what would happen there. There was a rooftop, there'd be a rooftop lounge and multi-use dwelling where people could come and they could stay. They could have some transitional housing. There was 2 target markets, and that is repats trying to get here and needing a first place to land before they found their own rental or compound or whatever, and people who were purchasing land and needed to develop that land and needing a place to stay while they're coming to oversee working on their land. So hence why the property was supposed to be renovated and monetized so that people could book a stay there at a very low cost. This would be how the investors of that property would recoup their money and additionally make some revenue, some residual revenue as the property was continued to be booked.
Yeah, naturally.
And I can tell you that there are people who are being booked currently whose money has been taken. People are already inbound now as we speak. I spoke to a woman and her children last night that are inbound to stay in that property, and you saw my video.
I saw your video. I did.
It's not habitable.
Listen.
People have given a lot of money. There are more than 70 investors involved in all of these properties.
Wow. Can you give us a ballpark figure on how much money they've taken?
My easy estimation is somewhere in the ballpark of 150K minimum. I'd be that's probably a very small number, because the minimum investment was $500, the max investment $10,000, and there are 65 to 70 or more investors from the US and from the islands and other places. Yeah.
Wow.
Some people invested to 3 figures, some people invested 4 figures, mid 4 figures, some people invested as much as 5 figures.
Wow. Wow. That's unbelievable.
So
that really
there's
is
no
unbelievable.
reason, and now that I'm here, I know what it takes to lease a property. Yeah. Now that I'm here, I know what it takes to lease a property. And so I immediately questioned, well, if it costs this, and I know that you took in this, and I'm looking at this and nothing's happened, where's the money?
Precisely. And I've once again, I've read the comment section, and I've read one person speak about her Facebook group, where you have to pay for entry into her Facebook group. And I think her name's Tanya, actually. She's one of my
yes.
And she was saying that she must be making, just on her Facebook alone, she must be making around between $3,000 and $5,000 a week or a month, right, on her Facebook profile alone.
Easily.
these numbers are pretty staggering.
Yeah.
Why are
Because
they
everything has a charge to it.
Why are
Yeah,
they,
everything has a charge to it.
yeah. What do you think they're just milking the situation? Do you think they are overconfident and
Arrogance.
thinking, yeah, possibly.
Yes, the
Yeah.
level of arrogance is just amazing.
Yeah. Goodness.
Yep.
And she's still in the Gambia. I think you would need to have a lot of arrogance and perhaps a lot of guile to talk about people in the way she has spoken about people and live in that country amongst those people.
Right.
But also there must be a part of her that realizes the reality of the situation, which is why she has locked herself pretty much all day
Yes.
in her apartment. What do you think is going? Do you have you ever thought about what her exit strategy is? Do you think she has an exit strategy? Do you think she's planning to perhaps cross the border into Senegal? Do you think she's perhaps trying to will leave and go back to the States, or do you think she's comfortable where she is now?
Well, I don't know if she's going to leave and go back to the States. I don't know. I know that since shortly after I arrived, or actually prior to my arrival, Kwesi told me that when I arrived, he was going to get me up and running, make sure I understood the operations, and then he and Art were going to go to Ghana. This is what he initially told me. He and Art were going to go to Ghana to develop business in Ghana, and I would be running things here. I later kind of quickly figured out, wait a minute, I think these folks are trying to go and leave me hanging, holding the bag. And so then I was like, no. And then the story changed and they weren't going to Ghana. And then all of a sudden we hear that they're going to Senegal, or that Kwesi's in Senegal and nobody knows where she is. At this point, we're not talking. It's a very adversarial relationship because it's been so ugly that I have had to, and because of the legal potential of all of it and where my name was used and that sort of thing, I have had to make it very clear that I've made a clean break, that those accounts have been locked and have not been touched. I'm working with some consultants now to try to rectify the situation and try to recoup some loss for the investors that are involved. Those people who have invested, that they need to know that that we are actually planning more official action. This is not just on an online beef kind of thing, that we are operating through official channels. We have demanded an independent auditor, an official independent auditor, not somebody that Kwesi knows or Art knows. An official independent accounting auditor to come in and open the books and tell the investors where the money is. The investors have demanded that the properties be seized and locked until there can be a full accounting of where the dollars have gone, where the investors' money has gone, to include, he has alluded that it has been leases and staff fees, except I have firsthand knowledge that the staff he's talking about are his, not students.
Yes. You know, I was going to ask you, you're there now, you've been there for 3 weeks, right? You're in this situation now, and it seems as though, I can see that you're upset, but it seems as though you're determined to see this out. Where are you getting this determination and energy from? I mean, is it an African American thing? I speak a lot about the tenacity of the
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. What's keeping you going?
Yeah, when somebody is done wrong, but as I said, I have a military background. My father was in the military. My mother was a drug and alcohol abuse counselor in an all-male maximum security prison. I was raised by two people who believed in justice, and believed. My mother is still living. My father has passed away. But my father taught me that if you are just and you do what is right, everybody may not like you, but people will respect you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am the bit of anger that I do have is that, like a lot of people, I believed. And
Mm-hmm.
so because I offered my skill set, I was propped up as an ambassador. And I know for a fact that there are people who invested simply on my testimony because I vouched for him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not okay for me.
No.
I've spent a lot of years building my own reputation, running my businesses. I am a charitable giver to people, all of those things. And so I stand in a position now where this man has put me in a position to potentially ruin my reputation and my standing with my businesses because I vouched for this criminal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I feel a sense of responsibility to make it right.
Okay.
It is criminal. It's
Yeah.
not just that we're going to make up and everything is going to be all right. That's not what's going to happen because I'm responsible for some of these people. There were some people who had some leery feelings, but they couldn't prove it. And because I was propped up and said, "Hey, Phoenix, they believe Phoenix, and she's a great person, and all of these things," and I said, "Yeah, it's all good. It looked good to me." People came in and gave more money because I said so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm the bulldog that's not going away. I'm not going away. It's not going to end. I'm going to see it through until there is some prosecution or some action. Whatever has to happen, I will not stop. He can call me whatever he wants to. All right, Cathey can make videos about me. I'll take the lashing. I don't care. I've been in the military. I'm built for it. I'll take all the hits. People can say I was stupid for believing. Yes, maybe I was. All of that. Any of the things that I did them. You can ask me. Yes, I did. I helped him. I
Yep.
set up those payment systems. I helped facilitate some of those transactions. Yes, I did. I didn't know. But the moment I knew, I shut it down and I'm going to see this to the end. Period. It's not
Yeah.
going to go away. I
Yeah.
am going to see it to the end. There will be some legal resolution to this.
That's really, really good. And I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of people who are going to really be happy about hearing those words coming from your mouth. There are going to be a lot of people also who are going to be hurt. They're going to feel like they were betrayed. It's not even about the money.
Yes.
Money comes and money goes, right? I mean, I'm not even sure whether most of those people assumed that they weren't going to see that money back anyway, or anytime soon. They had the money to invest. But a lot of those money, of course, a lot of that money was from people who deeply believed in Art Cathey and Kwesi Boy.
Yeah.
And now they've lost this, not just lost this money, but they've lost hope. A lot of people have been coming online now and they're saying, I can't believe it. I was going to invest in that. I was thinking and dreaming about moving my family out there. I was thinking about, starting my new life. And now it's all come to a shuddering halt.
It's heartbreaking.
It is.
It really is heartbreaking. Again, this man spoke to my daughter. So everybody saw my daughter's rant, Chanel Nicole. He spoke to my daughter before I left the States, and she said, "Assure me that you will treat my mother well." And he assured her, "No, this is my sister. I'm going to take good care of her." As Black women in America, we are the last person to be taken care of.
Yeah.
We're not protected. We're not taken care of. We're not respected. We're looking for a community of sisterhood and brotherhood. We're looking for men who are willing to care for us without trying to sleep with us to get, just because this is our brother and it's what's right? And so I thought that I was coming here to that. And my daughter thought that I was coming here to that. And then I get here and see that not only is it being, that funds are being misappropriated and that the business is not being handled, but then I'm met with violence and verbal abuse from a man who vowed to my daughter that he would see over my well-being while I was here 5,000 miles away from my home.
Yeah, yeah.
People commented on my videos and said, I see Kwesi's good, he's taking care of the sisters, and that's not true at all.
No, no. I mean, I'm actually happy that you're here now telling people to be careful, essentially, to make sure that they don't fall into the same trap that you did, and make yourself liable by trusting people, because Art Cathey and Kwesi Boy,
right,
they aren't the only people who are over there doing this type of thing. Apparently, it's quite widespread, and you know, these guys probably are the most knowledge. They're the ones who are the most well known because of their exposure on the internet. But there are other people in the shadows as well who are doing the exact same thing. I remember I remember the first time I went to the Gambia was, goodness, it was 20 years ago now. It was a long time ago. And I think I was offered three times these dodgy timeshares from people, from some of the shadiest characters, and you knew that they weren't targeting people like me. They were targeting elder women, elder women who had sort of boyfriends over there that they met on the beach, and they just targeted those women simply because they knew they had the money. They knew they were, you know, they could target them, take the money, and then leave. You know, some of them worked in teams doing that. That's how they earned their money. And so people need to be aware that Africa does have these nefarious characters. Some of them are not even native to Africa. Some of the guys that were doing this in Gambia when I was last there, some of them were Asian, you know, some of them were white Europeans. So, and British, some of them were British white.
Right. Well, and you know, the lesson, the reminder for all of us.
Yeah. I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, the reminder for all of us is that humans are humans. Scams happen everywhere. Scams happen in America. Scams happen in the UK. Scams certainly happen on the continent of Africa. And the biggest lesson here for everybody, to include myself, is that we can't be so mesmerized by the hope of the vision that we don't pay attention to the fine details. You know, but at the same time, I also want to tell the truth that despite all of this mess, despite all of the ugliness of it, I don't regret coming to the Gambia at all. I am enjoying my stay here. I'm enjoying getting acclimated into the culture here and meeting the people. I've met some amazing Gambians here, and they quite frankly have embraced me and made sure that I'm okay. I had planned on my friend, my sister joining us, Sister Shantae, but we're dividing and conquering, taking care of some things. So I don't know, maybe you'd be willing to talk to her later and share her experience.
I would love to.
But we've had to partner. Yeah, we've had to partner up and to make sure that we're both okay, and we are okay. We're comfortable. We have a place. We're secure. We have, you know, everything we need and a good support system around us. But it has been the community at large that has embraced us and made sure that we're okay. And so when I say the community at large, I'm talking about the real diaspora community that's happening here, that are both Americans and people from the crew from the UK and local Gambians. Like there have been a real mix of diverse people who have embraced Shantae and I and helped us to be okay, find what we needed, pointed us in the direction, saw what was happening and said, come on, we got you guys. And we're going to help you get this taken care of. If you're willing to stand and tell the truth, then we're willing to be your backup. And that has been, and it didn't matter. Nobody said, oh, well, you're from the US, so us folks from the UK can't help you. Nobody said, oh, you're talking to the people from the UK, so we can't help you. Nobody said that, actually.
You know, you've got a lot
of people who have been attackers.
Yeah, you got a lot of people saying this around the internet, sort of trying to break things up between the diasporans, saying that, you know, well, you British, you do this, you Americans, you do this, this is the way you act, and these and I'm glad you're saying this, you're bringing this to light, because obviously you're on the ground there, you're able to tell us straight up, listen, you cannot use partisan measures to you know, differentiate people on how good they are, whether they are trustworthy. You cannot say all Americans are A and all British people are B.
Right.
You know, and I think a lot of people, a lot of diasporans who are planning to move over there, they need that bit of security. They need someone to say, all Americans are going to take care of Americans, and when we get there, you're going to be taken care of. And I think a lot of people like Art Cathey, I think that's one of the things she did. She used that part of returning diasporans. They should use that to win their trust over, and that is really sad.
And we're gonna build our own community and all these things. But it you know, the more and more that rhetoric continued, it very much began to strike a separatist chord, and I found myself tilting my head and saying, you know what, while I am all for building this beautiful community that is by and for and about the diaspora and us all coming home and bringing us together, I don't want to be locked in some compound where I never have to go out and I only operate around you know, the American diasporans, and I don't talk to who wants to do that? That's a cult. I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
And so you'll see, like, I got here, I'm having my first birthday on the continent this week. I said, I'm having my first birthday on the continent this week. Actually, on Thursday will be my birthday. People that follow me on Facebook know that I've published that I'm having a big birthday party. And guess what? I've been, for the last 2 weeks, actually, I've been inviting people to my birthday party who are coming. And it's a wonderful mix of people from the diaspora of all over the place. And it's being hosted by my brother, Molly Morris, here at Mo2, you know, and everybody's coming through. We all get along. We all get along. So, you know, I was excited that my birthday party was turning into this great, what I call a unity fest. You know, it's so many people from the diaspora, people that I never met a day in my life, just popping in, and they're like, hey, you moved here, and yes, you've moved here too. And I'm like, I'm having a party, and they're like, tell us what time, we're coming. That's the sentiment. So, that you know, throughout all of this ugliness, the one thing I really, the one thing I really want to leave people with is that that there is a community here. You don't have to be afraid to come here. I don't regret my arrival here, my plan to stay here. And no one should be afraid to come here because there are some amazing people. You don't get to meet perfect strangers so freely in the United States, and maybe in the UK, I don't know, but you know, we're all on guard in the States. We're all on guard. You're afraid of everybody. I didn't come here to be afraid of people or to not get along with people. I didn't come here for that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people like the Gambia simply because because of that community atmosphere that everybody has. Everybody knows one another. So, you know, like I said, I've been there a few times before. I went there before this sort of, it was trending to go there for ADOS to go there. And when I went there before, I was taken in, not by diasporans, but by locals. They literally took me in. It was so beautiful. Some of the things, I mean, I'm tearing up now and I'm thinking about some of the situations that I went through. It was absolutely beautiful. And I'm literally, I can't wait to come back over there to the Gambia. And are you planning on staying in the Gambia? Are you planning to stay there? Is your daughter going to come over?
I'm planning to stay. Yes, I'm planning.
Wow, that's really good. That's really good.
Yes, my daughter, I have a granddaughter as well. My daughter, my granddaughter are planning on coming over and going back and forth. I'm planning to stay here for a time. I'll be here for at least a year. And then I'm planning on hopping around the continent a little bit.
That's beautiful.
I actually did my African ancestry DNA. And it came back like 100% match for Equatorial Guinea.
Wow.
Bioko Island specifically, and so I want to go to Bioko Island and visit there and see, where my family has come from. People have been looking at me and my features. It's funny that many of the people in the States have commented on my fair skin and suggested that or asked if the people here consider me white, and they actually don't. I stood beside a brother last night who told me he was from Guinea, and I said, oh, my family is from Guinea, and we stood side by side, and though he was very dark skinned, our features look exactly alike. Shantae looked at us and like, oh my God, you guys look like cousins. So
many people outside of Africa don't understand that Africa is the most ethnically and racially diverse continent on this planet by far. No other continent even comes close to the racial diversity. A lot of Americans, a lot of Africans, a lot of people outside Africa believe that that Black people are one monolithic race from Africa, just one race. And in the north of Africa, you have the Arabs, and they have a very simple way of looking at Africa because that's what they've been taught. But I can see that mosquito flying around you.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Yes. It's trying to get me.
Okay. So let me just ask you, what do you think? I don't want to take more of your time, but I wanted to ask you just two more questions, okay? The people that are coming over right now, is there something happening to take care of these people that have, that have invested and are trusting in the systems and organization that are Cathey?
And are already inbound?
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, so it is, honestly, it's me and Shantae kind of by ourselves standing in the midst of it with a community of people around us. We have been, some people have contacted us and let us know that they are inbound. If they are inbound and made arrangements to stay at that rubble that they didn't know was a rubble, we are doing our best to find out what their needs are and find places for them to stay. I've gotten some calls even out of Senegal and out of Ghana with people who have connections here in the Gambia that are offering to help us try and make certain that everyone is okay, because we don't want them to come like we did and find out that where they think they're coming to stay is not even appropriate for them to stay, or don't have the accommodations that they need. And so, we're trying. We're two women who came here expecting the same thing that they were expecting, and we had to salvage and make sure that we were safe. We are now safe and in a stable, but we have people, I mean, there are some people that are inbound within the week, within 2 weeks. Like there are people coming and we don't know where they're going to be, but we're trying our best to rally the support. We've asked people to contact us and let us know what their needs are, and we are trying our best to help accommodate them. Shantae and I have committed that if we are able to secure some properties to assist these folks, then they can stay in those properties at no additional cost if they've already sent Kwesi and Art money. And we don't have money to cushion people, but we're trying our way through with the consultant that we're working with and some of the other people that are working with us to manage this problem. We're trying our best to manage some of the fallout and to not have people stranded at the airport. Like it's just me and her, and we're trying to figure it out because
Okay. It's a
crappy deal. It's a crappy deal.
Have you set up a GoFundMe or something like that? Is there anything that it's been set up that I can maybe assist you with, and let the folks at home, perhaps if they want to assist as well in giving whatever they can to help yourselves and to help the incoming ADOS brothers and sisters who are obviously unaware of what's going to be the impact of Art Cathey's practices.
So
do you have anything like that you want me to share?
Yeah, so right now we are accepting donations. So we don't have a GoFundMe yet, but right now, but we do have we are accepting donations via my business PayPal account and Cash App account. So we have a Cash App account. It's the hashtag INFYOOZD. That's infused, spelled phonetically. INFYOOZD.
Can you get a link? Is there any way you can send me a link? WhatsApp me the link.
I can.
Please.
I can WhatsApp you the link for the Cash App and for the PayPal. We would request that anybody that send any funds or any donation, that they specify, like put repat or something like that in the note, so that we are able to keep a full accounting, because we don't want and again, we've only asked people if they want to make a donation, they can make a donation, but
yeah, of course.
We've kind of taken the hit and used our own funds. Shantae and I have used up our savings, to try to help people that are coming, because they're not going to have a place to stay.
Yeah, that's well appreciated. Please.
So I can send you those links, but we also have a commitment to be fully transparent. So people should know that because of what's happened, we want people to know exactly, if they make even a small donation to us, we want them to know exactly where it's going. So please, if you send anything, put a note in there, like repat or repat assistance or something like that, so that we can help people incoming. We've already committed we have someone coming in on the 1st of November with children, and we have committed to picking her up from the airport and finding a place for her to stay. She paid this man money to stay in that 8-bedroom rubble, and we can't allow that to happen.
Well, I don't think any of us brothers and sisters can allow that to happen. I don't think we will allow that to happen. So, please get me that link. I will put that link actually in the description box below, guys. So please, like you heard her say, if you can give whatever you can, I most certainly will. Please do so, and let's help our brothers and sisters out. Let's show the rest of the diaspora that we're not as desperate or as cunning or as as bad as Cathey and Kwesi Boyd. We're not as selfless,
Right.
It would actually, it would be good to do this, because I think that it would heal a lot of people. It would heal a lot of people. So let's do this for them. Let's do this for them. Listen, I I didn't want to take any more of your time. So
Thank you.
I wanted to thank you for coming on and speaking to us today and just being open to I know that it wasn't easy, and I could see that you're quite upset by this as well. So thanks for sort of holding it in and communicating to us and being able to. You know, I'm sure you've now helped out a lot of people, because if you wouldn't have spoken up, more people would have been hit by this trap. I'm telling you this now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
I appreciate that. I'm just really trying to do what's right.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that together. Okay, then. So thanks once again. Thank you for your time. We will keep in touch. And yeah, if you could tell your sister. Your sister's there with you, right?
Yeah, Shantae.
No, that's Shantae. No, Chantel is your daughter. Shantae is your sister.
Yes, yes. Chanel. Okay. Chanel is my daughter. Shantae has become my fast sister. We actually are not biologically related, but we both found ourselves in this mess together, and we have become joined at the hip because we were thrown into it together, and we latched arms and said we're not going to let each other fall.
That's beautiful.
So
that is really beautiful. That is, you know. It's sometimes
she's my sister for life at this point. We have not let each other drown.
That's really beautiful to see that something beautiful has come out of this situation. And sometimes it takes an ugly pupil in order for a beautiful butterfly to form out of it. And you guys, you're like the phoenix out of the fire. Right. I'm sure you're going to. We won't leave you along either. Yeah. Don't worry about that. Yeah, we will definitely keep in touch. And what I will do is I would like to speak to you again like this, and just to keep the people up to date as well on how you're going and what's been happening there as well. If you can, if that's possible, that'll be well appreciated.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm in this for the long haul, and I absolutely would love to communicate and keep people up to date and let them know what's going on as we manage this system and hopefully come to some just resolve of it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Well, keep that crown on, sister. Keep that crown on. Keep it straight. And we will keep in touch. Okay.
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 Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much. And can I just ask?
Bye-bye.
Did you manage to record this?